Discover Little Red at Indian Hills, where good food, great views, and Arkansas hospitality come together in Fairfield Bay. Enjoy lunch or dinner with comfortable indoor seating, a relaxing outdoor patio, and barbecue available Thursday through Saturday. From golfers fresh off the course to locals and visitors alike, Little Red is the place to gather, eat well, and unwind. Little Red at Indian Hills. Good food, great views, and a Fairfield Bay favorite.
Are you a sports card collector? Then make your next stop Stan's Sports Cards in Greenbrier. Whether you're chasing vintage legends or today's hottest rookies, Stan's Sports Cards has something for every sports fan. Browse an incredible selection of sports cards, jerseys, memorabilia, and collectibles from your favorite teams and players. Looking to sell? Stan's Sports Cards is actively buying vintage and modern sports cards. Turn those cards sitting in a box into cash today. Visit Stan's Sports Cards at 26 South Broadview, Highway 65, in Greenbrier, open Tuesdays through Fridays from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Looking for farm-fresh beef for your family? Blacktop Cowboy Cattle Company has you covered. Choose from a whole, half, or quarter beef, or purchase individual packaged cuts. Our cattle are locally raised, and your beef is processed at a trusted local facility for quality you can taste. Best of all, your order is picked up and hand-delivered locally right to your door by Eddie Whitehurst. Call Blacktop Cowboy Cattle Company today and put farm-raised beef on your family's table.
Ready for your next beach getaway? Discover the perfect vacation with Willock Condo Rentals. Enjoy beautiful beachfront condos in Navarre Beach and Panama City Beach, Florida. When you book directly with the owner, you'll pay no service fees, saving more money for fun in the sun. For over 15 years, Willock Condo Rentals has helped families create unforgettable beach memories with comfortable accommodations and breathtaking Gulf views. Start planning your next vacation today. Contact Willock Condo Rentals and experience the beach the way it was meant to be. Hungry? We've got you covered. Welcome to Bentley's Restaurant, Greer's Ferry's largest restaurant. Join us for breakfast and lunch every Tuesday and Wednesday, then come back Thursday through Saturday for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. From homemade omelets and our Saturday breakfast buffet to fresh salads, daily lunch specials, and hand-cut ribeyes cut as big as you want them, there's something for everyone. Friday and Saturday nights are legendary with our seafood buffet featuring jumbo peel and eat shrimp, catfish, crawfish, and all your favorites. Plus, don't miss our delicious prime rib on Saturday nights and our crab leg dinner every Friday and Saturday. Whether you're joining us for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, you'll always find great food, generous portions, and friendly service. Bentley's Restaurant in Greer's Ferry. Come hungry, bring your friends, and make every meal one to remember.
It's time for Lake Area Takes. Join longtime Lake Area sports broadcasters John Verser and Austin Gray as they dive into the biggest stories, hottest debates, and boldest opinions in sports. John and Austin bring their experience, insight, and plenty of takes. Lake Area Takes is proudly sponsored by Blacktop Cowboy Cattle Company, Bentley's Restaurant, Willock Condo Rentals, Little Red Restaurant, and Stan's Sports Cards. Lake Area Takes with John Verser and Austin Gray, where local voices deliver big-time sports talk.
How's it going, everybody? And welcome to episode 2 of Lake Area Takes on Lake Area Sports. And episode 2 means we didn't get canceled.
We are on the air for the second straight week.
We are super excited. Thank you guys for joining us. Lake Area Takes with John Verser and Austin Gray. He's John and I'm Austin, and we are excited to be back for week 2. I think we should start with a big thank you to everybody for watching this past week. We've had some good numbers come back from episode 1.
Thank you so much for joining us for week number 1. Thanks for watching the interview with Jolie and then all the other nonsense we talked about. And appreciate you joining us for week number 2.
So week number 2 underway, and we've got another really awesome guest that we're excited to have with us. He has been a voice of many different teams, many different levels. But at heart, right here, he's a Lake area guy and proud West Side graduate. And so we are very excited to have Billy Morgan with us today. Billy, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, guys. That photo obviously was taken quite a while back. I'm all gray now, so yeah, it was several years ago. My headshot at Harding may have to be updated a little bit.
Surely Harding's not what made you get the gray hair, is it?
No, that all of my gray hair probably are only to blame on myself. I could blame a lot of guys that might be up on Prim Mountain, but I'll take it all on myself.
Well, thanks so much for joining us. And I guess kind of start from the beginning. What interested you and what got you into sports broadcasting?
Well, I wanted to play, and then talent only goes so far, and I ran out of talent real early in high school, and realized real quick I couldn't play basketball. I was not quick enough. Just not a very good basketball player. I was on Charles Brady's last team, but I always had the best seat in the house at the end of the bench. And it was rightly so. I couldn't contribute at all in basketball. I didn't play after my sophomore year, but played on West Side's first couple of baseball teams that we had, 87, 88. And we had some good years. 88 had a really good year. Went to Harding, tried to play baseball there. That's when I realized I ran out of talent. And I wanted to stay involved in sports. And this is just kind of the way that I chose to be a part of sports. And I guess I'm about to enter my 33rd year of play-by-play.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome. I think that got to ask, since you mentioned playing for Charles Brady, I mean, if you're from West Side, he's a legend. He's got one of the names on the building. So what's it like playing for Charles Brady?
Man, I don't remember calling him Coach Brady. I remember it was Mr. Brady is what I remember. I remember I was on his last team, in fact. Somehow I got a letter. So they must have won a lot of games because I only came in the games late in the fourth quarter because the game was already decided when I played. But I remember he came in the locker room and told the seniors, I know how you feel. It's your last game because it's mine too. So that was his last game at Westside. Was back in, I guess it would have been after the 86 season. But I had many times, I mean, when you go to Westside and you start there in kindergarten in 1975, I mean, you always look at Mr. Brady. And then, Eddie Hip was actually a cousin of mine. I couldn't call him Eddie, and I couldn't really call him Coach, so I had to call him Mr. Hip during class because he was one of my teachers. So both those guys were there back then. But I remember Mr. Brady just being a tremendous coach, got the most out of all of his players, and he had so many great players come along. And I remember him sitting on the medicine chest, didn't sit in the chair. He always had that. We had that little chest. Maybe that's why they kept me around. Maybe I should have just carried that chest where he could sit on it. But I think we were Rosebud one time, and I was calling high school basketball. West Side and Heber were about to play, and I was going to call the game. And he was sitting at the end of the West Side bench with his cowboy boots, just going to watch the game that night. And I walked by and I said, "Hey, Mr. Brady," I said, "how do you like your seat tonight?" And he just kind of looked at me and he said, "It's a pretty good seat." And I said, "That's the seat I always had on your teams." And he just laughed because that's exactly right. I think we only had maybe 15 jerseys. Everybody tried out. So I was lucky enough to get one of the 15 jerseys, but that was about all I ever did to help Westside basketball, was actually put a uniform on. But just great memories, though, in that old gym.
I'm pretty sure you and I shared the same seat and the same role for Westside basketball, if I'm being honest. So you go to Westside, you graduate, and you talked about attempting the baseball at Harding. But at what point did you get your first gig or opportunity in broadcasting? Where'd that come from?
Ooh, that was actually just a lucky break from my cousin was working for a radio station in Heber Springs, and they didn't have anybody to call the games. in I guess it was 94. And she said, I think my cousin could do that if you'll give him a chance. They were doing the home games only. And I don't even remember what I was doing for a living at that time, but I wasn't making a living as a broadcaster. And so they let me call the game. And I called the games at Heber until 97, I guess. And then I moved over to Clinton, did some games over there for Sid King for several years, and football and basketball, and started kind of really enjoying it. At that time, you would have to send cassette tapes out. So I'd send a cassette tape out to different people. And I sent one to Paul Eels. Well, a year later, still hadn't heard anything back from him. And honestly, I'd forgotten about it. Well, I get a letter in the mail from Paul Eels. And he was very complimentary and just so nice. It was funny how things worked back then. That was way before cell phones, the internet, or anything like that. Yeah. And I called Channel 7 and asked for the sports department, not knowing if I could even get through to Paul Eels. He was on such a pedestal to me. And he answered the phone. He said, "Sports, Paul Eels." And I told him who I was, and he said, "Yeah, Billy, I'm sorry. I just found that letter a couple of weeks ago and listened to your tape." And we talked for a while. And I finally told him several years later that was about a year and 2 weeks when he actually reached back out to me. But at the time, he was very good friends with. It's so funny how your career works and the contacts that you make. And I always tell folks that are wanting to get in the broadcast business is talk to as many people as you can. Because at the time, Barry Dowd was the athletic director up at Arkansas State. And he was a longtime assistant coach to Abe Lemons, who was the head coach at Texas back when Eddie Sutton and Texas were going at it. And Paul Eels knew him. And they were looking for a women's basketball announcer and a baseball announcer at that time. And I was young, and I was very, very green and probably wasn't ready for that job. But Paul Eels recommended me for that job and got me my first college job. And so that's kind of how it all started on the collegiate level anyway, up at ASU.
Oh, wow. This is Barry Dowd's a name I hadn't thought of in a long time.
Yeah, you know that name, yeah. But again, you can't make it too many contacts and then so many friends over the years. And Paul Eels was such an influence on my the early days of doing games. And what he taught me was that just to be a genuine and nice person. Because I remember when I started, I did women's basketball and baseball at Arkansas State. Eventually I did men's basketball at Arkansas State. Eventually did football also. And I remember we were at a football lunch in Little Rock one time, and I went up to Paul Eels and I introduced myself for probably the 30th time. And he finally pulled me off to the side and he said, "Billy, you don't have to introduce yourself to me. I know who you are." And so that just meant so much to me. And he was such a tremendous man.
Yeah, I bet Paul Eels, like I said, for people who were in the more modern age, you used to have to call the TV stations with the scores after the basketball game, and he was the one who a lot of times would answer the phone. And just one of the nicest guys. Him, Craig O'Neill at Channel 11, all the guys in the old days before everything was electronic.
Yeah, no, a lot has changed. I remember how I would get my game notes or maybe statistics from up in Jonesboro would be the old fax machine, the one that would curl up, and just fall on the floor, and you had to just tape it where you could read it and stuff. You were just forced to have a fax machine if you had that, and lots of bus rides. And I think back, you knew more people back in those days because you had to know them. Just like you're talking about calling and giving those scores. Now you go and you look at an app or you have the stats to every game. I mean, I can watch a big league baseball game every night. I follow a really bad Major League Baseball team, the Kansas City Royals, not having a good year, but I still watch every night, and I have all the stats at my fingertips. And then, you guys have a little bit better year this year, but when I grew up, my love for radio actually started sitting in my dad's truck just listening to baseball games. I would listen to anything I could, sports wise. And then I noticed those guys had pretty good seats. When you go actually to an event, they had good seats to watch the game. So I kept up with the announcers as much probably as I did the players.
So who did you listen to growing up? I know the Cardinals would have been Jack Buck about that time. Who was it on Kansas City side?
Same guy. It's awesome. Denny Matthews has been there since 1969 when the team came along, and he's still doing the games. He has I've had many interactions with him, and he's a great guy. The Royals radio engineer was actually for many years just retired from Newport, Arkansas. And so there's so many contacts I have with those guys but Denny Matthews, Fred White were doing the Royals games. You would have to go through the AM radio dial because it would fade out. You'd hear a station in Kansas, hear a station in Missouri, one in Kansas. You go back and forth and fade in and out like that. And obviously Jack Buck and Mike Shannon, I listen to those guys a lot. But football and basketball, it was Paul Eels and Mike Nail. Mike Nail did the Razorback basketball games for so many years, and just grew up listening to those guys. And somebody who is still a great friend to me to this day, when Harding's playing in a big football game, is Ray Tucker, who was at Channel 11, Channel 7 when I was young, and Channel 11 still does Arkansas Little Rock games, or Little Rock, I guess they're called now. We became very good friends. And, we'd cross paths. At one time he lived in Heber, so we would ride the games together. And Ray's a legend, and I'm glad to call him friend. So I listened to him a lot growing up also.
And then he was with the Hall of Fame for many years as well.
Yeah, that's when he lived in Heber Springs. And I have so many good times with Ray Tucker when I was up in Jonesboro, and it's so fun because that was a long time ago when I was in Jonesboro, but Ray Tucker and me have kept in touch all through those years, and there's so many guys. I mean, I met Steve Sullivan when I was at Arkansas State. I mean, Steve Sullivan, he was doing the ASU games, the football games, and that was my first contact with him, and still consider him a very good friend.
I mean, you just mentioned a lot of the sports announcing and sports broadcasting legends in the state of Arkansas. I mean, just in the last couple of minutes, that's quite the list to get I'm, it's such a. Those guys are real people. Dave Woodman. I remember, Dave Woodman was doing some high school games a few years ago, and coming around and such a genuine man. And I think that's something that I hope that we continue all throughout the state as far as with our broadcasters at any level. And you never know when you're going to run into these guys. Phil Elson, who does the Razorback baseball games, a good friend of mine, was at Henderson State doing football while he was doing the Travelers games. Yeah. And then now obviously does the women's basketball at Arkansas and Razorback baseball. And my wife and I were hiking at Petty Jean Park, I don't know, several years ago, 3 or 4, and someone's yelling at me, and my wife says, I think that guy's talking to you. I said, nobody knows me in these woods. And then finally we get closer to him, and it is Phil. And I have a Royals shirt on. And I said, how did you know that was me from over there? And he said, you're the only guy that would be in these woods with a Royals shirt on. So he knew it was me. So
I got to stick with the Royals for just a second because I need to ask, how many opening days have you been to?
Not as many as I would like. When I was a kid, I mean, my first trip to Kansas City was in 1980. I was 9 years old, and it wasn't for opening day. And opening day was just, I don't think opening day in the 70s, 80s was as made of a big a deal as what it is now.
Right.
Now, my sons, once they came along, it started really becoming a thing. And I told my wife, I said, I want to go to opening day with the boys. I mean, I have a 30-year-old now and a 25-year-old. They were much younger. So we've probably been to 9 or 10 opening days, I guess. But there's nothing like opening day to me. It's extremely special, especially if you lived and followed a team like I have that have not been to the playoffs a lot since 85. I mean, there was, I grew up in the late 70s and the early 80s when the Royals were in the playoffs every year. And it didn't go back until 2014. So I lived through those lean years, and I still kept up with the team. And I kind of scoff sometimes when I run into a fan that's, and I ask them, I say, how long have you been a Royals fan? And they say 14 or 15. I'm like, well, you really haven't gone through the lean years, and we're going through those years again. But I do love opening day. I've only been to a handful of playoff games. So, but I do keep up with it. And it's really, as you get older, your sports tree kind of gets pruned down. It's really the only team that I just sit down every night and will watch, especially during the summertime and when I'm having a little downtime. My wife has not really enjoyed this summer because there have been a lot of angry nights on the back porch just watching baseball from me. It's not been a good summer.
Kind of transition back to your coverage. So you are the voice of Harding football for sure. What all do you do at Harding, and how exactly did you? What's your story about how you got back there?
Well, in 2007, the summer of 2007, and actually, I guess go back to that winter, 2006, there was a group that they were doing some TV games for Harding, and I got involved doing that. And then after the 2007 season, as far as the wintertime, in the summer of 2007, they were looking for an announcer. Their announcer had resigned. So they had heard some of the work that I had done with that, and their public relations director, David Crouch, we've lost him now. He passed on, and just a tremendous man. He called me, said he wanted to have lunch, and he came up to Heber Springs. We had lunch, and he wanted me to do the Harding games, and I said, I really, honestly, after my time at ASU, I'd been home for a few years. I was working in the family business with the auctions with my dad, and the boys were little, and that was a big part of why I kind of got away from travel. And he said, oh, no, you won't have to travel as much, nothing like what you did in those days. And so he talked me into it, and I'm glad he did, because it's been the greatest experience of my career to be at Harding now for 20 years. At that time, I was just doing football and basketball, and now I broadcast everything that we put on stream or radio. And we put on radio football, basketball, baseball, and softball. And we also stream soccer and volleyball. So I'm involved with those as well. And we do a lot of coaches shows. After COVID, the only good thing that came out of 2020 was maybe being able to do things like this with you guys. I'm able to talk with our former athletes all around the country, and maybe if they're even all around the world that played at Harding. And we do a lot of interviews like this with those guys. And so I'm involved with Harding athletics on a day-to-day basis.
You got to be, especially, I guess, in the fall. I mean, I see it more on Facebook. You're one of the busiest people around. You broadcast Heber Springs High School football on Friday night, and either depending on how the football schedule works at Harding on a Thursday night or a Saturday, you could be in Oklahoma or somewhere. So that's got to be quite the
but John, you remember, John, the old days of the Arkansas State games. Now that's why I couldn't continue doing the high school games at Clinton back in those days when I started doing the Arkansas State games, because the conference was spread from all the way out to Utah and all over the place. So it is convenient that it's Oklahoma or Arkansas is where I am on Saturdays until we get to the postseason. Now that's when it really gets entertaining and exciting because I might be in Michigan one week on a Saturday and we might be in Colorado the next Saturday. So you just never know with that. But I still feel good. I'm not that old yet. So as long as I can keep going and doing those things, it's still fun and it's exciting, and it helps that I've had some really good football teams to follow over the last 10 years.
You graduated with my dad, so I know just how old you are.
I'll be 56 in August. Okay, 56 in August.
And somewhere where he's listening, he's sitting there thinking, "Yep, he got me by 2 months."
Yeah, hey, your dad and I were in the same class, and I was the baby of that class until probably we were in high school, and then a girl moved in, and then she was younger than me, and all the time from kindergarten up until probably the 8th or 9th grade, I was the youngest one in the class at Westside. So, yeah, he's got me beat. He's an old man, so.
Yeah, I agree.
But
he'll probably agree.
He was a much better. I'll tell you, he was a much better athlete than me. Todd could sure. I mean, he was. If we had football at Westside back then, he would have been a star playing football. If we'd had soccer, if he wanted to play soccer, he could have played any sport.
Can't wait to hear what he has to say.
Yeah, I want to hear him talk about playing soccer.
Yeah, I would like to hear that. Sticking with Harding, you're talking Harding football the last 10 years. Got to ask about the national championship season, just kind of in a nutshell. How much fun was that run?
You know, that was a dream season. Without a doubt, the highlight of any team I've ever followed. I've never followed a national championship team. I mean, our women's basketball team in 2017 went to the Final Four. That was a tremendous time. We had a softball team that went to the Super Regional Finals in 2017 as well. And you remember, a lot of people forget that 27 season, Harding, that was Paul Simmons' first year, went to the semifinals that year. And I think that year is when we all realized just how close we were. And A&M Commerce went on and won the national championship after they beat Harding in the national championship. So that 17 was when I really started thinking, hey, this program can win a national championship. And, you know, then 18, 9-3, and then 19, 10-2. And then that 2020 thing happened and we didn't play football in 2020. Had a really good team that was going to be coming back. We lost some great guys off that team because they just had to move on with their life. Some had wanted to go to graduate school and different things. And then 11-2, 21 I thought was the year. I really did. I thought that was the year. And then Northwest Missouri State got Harding again in Searcy. And then didn't make the playoffs in 22 at 9-2. But I still knew 23 they were going to be really good. But you started to understand that your regular season is such a big deal. And they were able to go 11-0, get the home field. And back in 23, you had the bye. And the bye week was such a big deal. Didn't play the first week. Beat Central Missouri in the first round of the playoffs for Harding on a blocked extra point. That's the way it ended. And otherwise, it was about to go to overtime. Grand Valley State comes down from Michigan. It's 6-0 Grand Valley State for most of the game. Harding scores right at the end of the game, kicks the extra point, wins 7-6, and then they just ran all over Lenore-Ryan the next weekend at home. So then Colorado School of Mines had been in the national championship game the year before. And that was just such a tremendous experience. Probably the best 2 days of my career. I called a basketball game on a Thursday night, got in a car with some guys, and we drove down. The team was already down there. I got there in the wee hours of the morning on Friday morning, and we just started working. And then finally got to the stadium on Saturday, and I remember that just being an emotional day because at that time, you know, I'd called games for almost 30 years, and I'm getting texts from a lot of those guys that I just mentioned earlier, that are broadcasters, and all the guys in our league were texting us and saying they're rooting for us. Kind of funny. I think they're tired of us now, though, because nobody texted me last year when we were there and said, go get them. I got a few, but not near as many as in 23. But then Colorado School of Mines scores first, and then Harding comes down, ties it 7-7. Then it was over. Bisons just took the game over and won 38-7. Braden Jay, as long as I'm walking this earth, every time I see Braden Jay, I'll go up and hug him. He just played his last season last year. He scored 3 touchdowns that day, and his 73-yard touchdown put the Bisons up 27-7 early in the third quarter. And at that time, Park Parrish, who's another area guy, I mean, he's from Clinton. He played at Harding. He's my color analyst during the games, and we go to break, and I took the headphones off, and I said, Park, we're going to win the national championship. And he said, you should have dropped the hammer. That's kind of my signature on that touchdown, because we both knew at that point the game was over. And so you had to really – you wanted the next quarter and a half to just hurry up and get over, because you wanted to get down to the locker room. You wanted to get down and see the coaches and the players. And it was such a huge amount of Harding fans that were down there, and just sitting above all of that. You know, I saw a 2-win season at Harding. They weren't winning that many games when I first got there. And to see the old Bisons, that's what we call affectionately our former players. For so many years, Jerry Moat was my color analyst. He was on the 1959 team that brought football back to Harding, and he has passed away and is no longer with us. But I thought about those guys, Dr. Jim City and Dr. Gaines, and so many guys at Harding that I thought about, that I just had to shut up, or I thought I was going to start crying, because I know how proud they would have been to see that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll never forget, just as someone from far away, you know, having the TV on and then listening to your ending call there. I mean, it was just quite set the scene very, very well.
You know, that was that all just kind of fit together. I think the good Lord told me what to say in the final seconds, because I don't know. I have people ask me about that a lot. The final call, and with Paul, Coach Simmons, you know, and just that championship time. I mean, I still have my national championship ring behind me, and I can't wear it because it would cover up my whole hand. But I remember last season when we were down there the night before the game. I mean, Jack Allen, who's a former Harding student and was around us a lot in the communications department. He's now on the weekends at Channel 7 and does such a great job, and proud of him. And he was down there covering, and he had me on his 6 o'clock hit, and with Sully on the sports. And Jack put me on the spot, and he said, you know, do you have a call ready for tomorrow? And I said, oh, no, I don't. And obviously we didn't get to say anything last year, but runner-up lost to Ferris State, who's dominating D2 right now. Just those two programs, Harding and Ferris State. But I had a lot of people asking me if I was ready to have something to say at the end, and I said, well, maybe it'll come, but didn't get to that point last year.
I guess two things as we kind of wrap up the Harding section here up that stand out to me, you know, from afar from Harding football is one, the offense that they run is unique among most teams in college football. It's gone along the wayside as people go to the spread. The shotgun, I guess, is now the normal offensive set for, you know, 95% of teams. And the two, just kind of I guess what they call the brotherhood. You know, you see Paul Simmons a lot on Facebook and the different videos and things like that talk about that. So I guess what of those two things kind of stood out and meant to you, and have you seen that have made a difference in that program as a whole?
Yeah, and you mentioned that. That brings up another old guy, not old guy, but anyway, a broadcaster helped me along the way, Randy Rainwater. Randy asked me that same question one time, and he was at ASU back when I was up there, and I told Randy, I said the brotherhood is real, and we were just doing an interview one time, and I said it's real. I've watched it. It goes back for the '59 team when those guys would come around. I promise you that this team in 26, those players from the 60s that come back, the 70s, they just love on those guys, and they're welcome to come be on the sidelines at any time, welcome to come to practice. They welcome to come to Bible study. That's one of the first things Coach Roddy Moat did when, as this will be his first year as head coach coming up this fall, is invited me to Bible study with the team back in the spring. And so that's a big part of the brotherhood. That is where the brotherhood starts, is honoring God. And I know the first conference championship ring that we actually got, that's what it says on the side, honor God. And that was Coach Huckabee back in 2016. And the brotherhood means more to Paul Simmons, to Roddy Moat, to all those guys at Harding football than that national championship ring. And I can say that in all honesty. I promise you. You talk to Paul Simmons and say, which means more, wins or the brotherhood, and he will tell you the brotherhood, because those guys have a bond. My oldest son was an equipment manager. He's kind of like me. He ran out of talent, but he was on equipment manager with the 2016 team that won the first outright conference championship that wasn't shared in Harding history. And so he has a ring. And I know he still keeps in touch with so many players from that era of Harding football. And when it's homecoming at a Harding football game, it's much more about the reunion and about the old players and students getting together than it is about the game. And I'm not sure that's the way it is very many places.
Well, God, before we get you out of here, I got just a couple more things I got to ask. And again, a lot of mine are based off the fact that we know a lot of the same people, and I have had people for a week telling me, "Hey, you got to be sure you ask Billy this. You got to be sure you ask Billy this." So yeah, brace yourself. No. So two things, and I got to ask first. I was told, and it probably won't be hard for you to figure out by who, but your real start in broadcasting came with a set of Walkman headphones and a straw coming out the side. Is that true?
That's true. Well, actually it was my mother is she's very accomplished piano player, organist, and she had headphones. And when she wanted to play the organ at home, she would put those on and play. And I remember going and Monday Night Football, and when everybody else I thought was in bed and not watching, I might get one of those straws that had the curvature to it. And I would call Monday Night Football games. I thought by myself, but I think I got caught a few times.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So that's true. Yeah,
that is true. Well, and the other thing I got to ask, you got a little experience with the working the NASCAR circuit.
I was a pit spotter. That was almost a 10-year run doing that. And that all got started because I had a friend in Charlotte that I had told me how it all worked and stuff. And I actually drove to Kansas City. I had enough people I knew up there I could stay with or something. And so I had a credential, and I worked as a runner one weekend at an IndyCar race is actually where it was to start. And the man that was over production told me, he said, "Do you know who Jack Arute is?" And I don't know if you guys remember Jack Arute or not, but Jack Arute was on ABC for so many years, and this was an ABC ESPN event. And he was a pit reporter. He also did college football sidelines reporting, and he was going to need a fill-in for a race coming up in Montreal, Canada. And so they said, come down to Dallas after this weekend and meet him. So I go down to Dallas. I drive down to Dallas, slept in my van in the TV compound, and met Jack, and we hit it right off. And so I worked as a pit spotter with him for a while. Many different guys and ladies on pit road that I worked for, and my job with those in those days was to go and get the interviews, to go and set an interview up. When you see a driver get out of a car, or before the car, particularly before the race, I should say, you see a driver getting ready before the race, and they're there with the TV talent, the announcer. That pit spotter has gone and has been able to do a lot of back work to get that interview set up, and you know exactly where they are. And so everything's down to the time. So it's your job to set those interviews up. And it's also your job during the race to find stories. So I would have a headphone on. I think what you guys, and we were talking earlier about a echo really doesn't bother me that much, because I might have 3 different radios going in my ear at one time working the races. And so, that was an interesting time. But once again, that started more travel than my wife thought was needed. And so I kind of pulled away from that. And when ESPN lost their contract with NASCAR, I didn't try to get back involved with NBC. And, it's changed around so much now. And honestly, it's not something that I keep up with as much. But it was interesting. A lot of stories that I learned from that I'll just keep to myself.
Fair enough. Well, one more question before we let you get out. Going back to your West Side baseball playing days, did you ever hit a home run in the air?
No. No.
Did anyone?
Did anyone?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, we had guys hit home runs. I can remember. I can remember Orrin Verser, big old Verser, hitting one at Quitman one time, and he had his hand in the air all the way around the bases as he hit it over the fence. He played third base for us our senior year. But yeah, I mean, we had guys hit home runs, but we didn't have a fence when I played baseball at Westside. Yeah, we played
it over the road.
Yeah,
to be in the air to be a home run at home.
Yeah, in right field, there's no way that anybody could hit one out of the park to right field. But we had a pretty good team my senior year.
Yeah,
you had to hit
you even think about it.
Oh, I didn't think about it my whole life. I hit one home run my whole life in Pony League, but I think at B Branch. But I'll never forget one funny story about my West Side playing days, and I'm still proud of. I think there's my letter and my from West Side baseball back here behind me. I have different. I'll never forget. West Side will always be home, and I need to come out and see people more often. I know, but it's just hard during the time when games are going because I'm not around much. But we lost Coach Gerald Bailey recently. And yes. I have a really funny story about Coach Bailey. Mr. Horton and Coach Bailey coached baseball when I played. And I'll never forget, I hit one as far as I could hit it to left center field at the old park there. And for people watching that do not know where the old park is actually where the new gym is now. That was a big part of where our ballpark was. But we didn't have an outfield fence. But we had the bases loaded, 2 outs, playing Quitman, down 1 run, base hit wins the game, and I think I'm up in the count, and I hit a ball as far as I can hit one to left center field, and I really thought it was in the gap. I just got to go touch first base, and we win the game. I go and I touch first base. This is my junior year, so we only lost 1 regular season game my senior year. I go and I touch first base, and I round first base, and the center fielder caught it. Made a great play, ran it down. And I remember I turned and looked at Coach Bailey, and I thought he was going to have some really nice advice for me and put his arm around me. He put his arm around me, and he said, well, Morgan, You blew that. And then he just laughed. He just laughed and patted me on the back, and it was that was Coach Bailey.
That sounds like Coach Bailey. Well, Billy, you've been awesome. You are a man of 1,000 talents, and we greatly appreciate you you coming out. And tell everybody where they can hear you right now, because we know that you're all over the place.
Well, in the mornings, I'm on the morning show. I'm sports director at KSUG in Heber Springs on 101.9 The Lake. So I'm on there every morning, except for tomorrow morning. I get the 4th of July holiday day tomorrow morning. Won't be on there on Friday morning, but I'll be on the air Saturday night for the fireworks that are shot in Heber Springs. I don't get to come out to Greers Ferry this year because they're on the same night. But I will be at the Heber fireworks on the air, and then Monday through Friday, I'm on the morning show from 7 to 9 on 101.9 in Heber Springs. And then you can go to hardingsports.com, and you'll probably see my face or hear me all throughout from, I guess middle of August until middle of May on TV and radio. So, but thanks so much for having me, guys, and I wish y'all all the best with your program, and you guys know I love your families. I love everybody out at Westside, and wish you guys all the best.
Thanks a lot, Billy. We appreciate you.
Thanks for joining us, especially the 15 to 20 minutes that turned into 45.
Well, that was tell you what, Billy he's a great guy, first off.
Yes.
I think more than anything else, but he's man of 1,000 talents is not an understatement with him. I think he proved he has done it all in his time that he's been in Harding, for sure, or just been doing sportscasting
before that.
Yeah.
So it's been a long time, like you said, over 30 years, and he's still going strong. And what it takes to be able to do a football game on Friday night, do another one on a Saturday, and other sports going on, and when you've got an extended football playoff run, trying to do some basketball and other things in between.
And people who don't have any clue how all this works think that it's a job where you only have to work 2 days a week. That is the furthest thing from the truth.
Yeah, like you said, coaches shows and
coaches shows
and all that kind of stuff. And
prep, game prep, just there's a ton that goes into it. So he's an awesome guy, though. That was great.
Yeah, thanks to Billy for joining us, and ran a little bit long, but we appreciate you for sticking with us.
Hey, when it's a good interview, I don't think it matters. But
absolutely,
we were glad to have Billy on. But we're going to take a quick break. We got a lot more still to come. Hang out with us. We got going to talk a little high school basketball postseason, and then some college football in a little bit, and it's going to be a fun rest of the show. So we're going to hear from our great sponsors once again, and we'll be back right after this to Lake Area Takes.
Discover Little Red at Indian Hills, where good food, great views, and Arkansas hospitality come.
Rookies. Stan's Sports Cards has something for every sports fan. Browse an incredible selection of sports cards, jerseys, memorabilia, and collectibles from your favorite teams and players. Looking to sell? Stan's Sports Cards is actively buying vintage and modern sports cards. Turn those cards sitting in a box into cash today. Visit Stan's Sports Cards at 26 South Broadview, Highway 65, in Greenbrier, open Tuesdays through Fridays from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Looking for farm fresh beef for your family? Blacktop Cowboy Cattle Company has you covered. Choose from a whole, half, or a quarter beef, or purchase individual packaged cuts. Our cattle are locally raised, and your beef is processed at a trusted local facility for quality you can taste. Best of all, your order is picked up and hand-delivered locally right to your door by Eddie Whitehurst. Call Blacktop Cowboy Cattle Company today and put farm-raised beef on your family's table.
Ready for your next beach getaway? Discover the perfect vacation with Willock Condo Rentals. Enjoy beautiful beachfront condos in Navarre Beach and Panama City Beach, Florida. When you book directly with the owner, you'll pay no service fees, saving more money for fun in the sun. For over 15 years, Willock Condo Rentals has helped families create unforgettable beach memories with comfortable accommodations and breathtaking Gulf views. Start planning your next vacation today. Contact Willock Condo Rentals and experience the beach the way it was meant to be. Hungry? We've got you covered. Welcome to Bentley's Restaurant, Greer's Ferry's largest restaurant. Join us for breakfast and lunch every Tuesday and Wednesday, then come back Thursday through Saturday for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. From homemade omelets and our Saturday breakfast buffet to fresh salads, daily lunch specials, and hand-cut ribeyes cut as big as you want them, there's something for everyone. Friday and Saturday nights are legendary with our seafood buffet featuring jumbo peel and eat shrimp, catfish, crawfish, and all your favorites. Plus, don't miss our delicious prime rib on Saturday nights and our crab leg dinner every Friday and Saturday. Whether you're joining us for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, you'll always find great food, generous portions, and friendly service. Bentley's Restaurant in Greer's Ferry. Come hungry, bring your friends, and make every meal one to remember.
All right, we are back here on Lake Area Takes, and last week we got to, I'm proud. I want to say I'm proud first off because we talked about we called it your rant with the with the new conferences, but thousands of people were interested in what you had to say last week, so that was pretty.
That's a first, but I appreciate them watching and listening, and it's just something that needs to be talked about at a bigger level than people like us. That we need some changes. It's been a long time since we've had changes of any magnitude other than, redistricting or whatever you want to call it, repopulation every couple of years. So it's something that's much needed and a further discussion that needs to be had on what's best for high school basketball in Arkansas and how it's organized. And not just basketball, but other activities as well.
We do a lot of what we do at Lake Area obviously is basketball coverage. Football season comes first as always, but we've only got, through a handful of schools in our area who do football. So a lot of our time here is spent with basketball. And we spend a lot of time with postseason play, especially as much as we can at Lake Area Sports. We've been blessed to do several state tournaments. Everybody's got their own ideas on how things should go. Should there be changes? I think that the current format, I don't think a lot of people have problems with, but I think that, in some ways everybody thinks there could be a better way to go about it. I don't know. Are you content with current postseason play for basketball, or you got other ideas? Or
I think there could be changes. I think you look at the most extreme case and say you finish 1 or 2 in your district. You can go 1-3, winning 25% of your postseason games and still make the state tournament, which I think is absolutely absurd. You just have to win that one game in the right spot. The win or die game there is that first game of regional. So you could lose your district game, but win the one game of regionals, then lose the next 2, and you're in the state tournament. And that's not what. I guess it just depends on what you think postseason should do. Are we about crowning a champion, or are we about just stringing enough people along to let a tournament go along? Because there's a lot of different ways to skin a cat, and I just don't know that what is being done now is the most efficient.
Do you have a format change, like a certain idea of we could do this instead? Or
I think there are a lot of ways. Say other states like Texas, and I'm not necessarily for this system, is that once you're in the postseason, first time you lose, you're out. You don't go any further. Now they do it different. It's like you match up with another district, and the top 4 teams in each district go, and your 1 will play their 4, and then match the other ones up. And then you branch into an area where you get a little larger, so you can't actually play a team in your district until down the line.
Right.
There's not at least not a chance of it. I don't know that it's necessarily here because I think we have more of a tournament culture in Arkansas and the history of playing district and regional tournaments. There's several ways you could do it, I guess. And going back to kind of what we talked about last week is the conferences are too wild and too big, and too far apart. So if you redid those and say, I don't know, you take the teams. This is just an example. Westside, Shirley, Concord, Rural, Timbo is a conference, and then you match them up with, I guess what now, Mammoth, Viola, Norfolk, Calico. Maybe you grab another person, you don't. Maybe you don't. Anyway, you can have smaller conferences, and then you match everybody up in the same district tournament, and then you go on from there. Or you could make a system where you don't have quite the number of participants once you get past the district tournament level. Because right now you're taking, 4 from each region to state, and then 4 from each district.
4 from each district to region, 4 from each region.
And by the time you've gone through some of that, you played some of these teams so many times.
Yeah.
There's.
And we've done. You and I have seen it plenty. Where, think back to, Lord, now it's probably been 5 years ago when it was 1A state finals. Boys was Westside Viola
For the 5th time.
for the 5th your 2 regular season meetings, and they were by far the 2 best teams. So district championship, regional championship, state championship, and Westside got 1 win that year. But I think everyone who watched just could tell that the most talented team was Viola, and it was just so repetitive over and over and over again. Not that you didn't want, especially as on the West Side part of it, like, oh, we could finally get them here, but think about being Viola going, my gosh, we beat this team 3 times already. Why are we still playing them?
Not just West Side. I mean, you play the same teams over and over that you played in the regular season and the postseason. So, I mean, it gets kind of stale.
Do you remember I don't want to call it an odd format, but I feel like I had already graduated where maybe I hadn't yet, I don't even remember. Every school had a conference, and it could be teams from different classifications in your area. I think it was right after I graduated, because I think I was trying to have it explained to me about how Westside and like Penguin were now in the same conference, even though they're different classifications.
Yeah, I think it was a long time ago.
Because they were proximity wise closer. I think they did it like that years ago, but I think for 1 season, maybe 2, in like the mid 2010s, they brought it back. And those of us who weren't around in the 70s and 80s, for us, it was so foreign. We were, okay, well, if we're going to be in a conference with Penguin and Rosebud and all of these close teams, that's great. However, you're in a district with
Other people.
Timbo and Norfolk and these who you've not played here, which is fine. But now what do you do come seeding? We got the same record. We both won the same number of conference games. I think I should get it. But then this school in your district says, no, I should get it. Well, how do you know? You haven't even played each other. And it kind of became a headache. So it's almost like there is a way you could do it. But then sometimes with certain formats, it's like, well, it almost seems like it complicates it more.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think then, too, you could go to year 1 plays their 4, and then vice versa. If you're going to make sure the conferences move for, going into district, you have even number. That way you're not, one team or one conference has a lot more. But to keep it at 4, say, your top 4 in each classification, no matter what. And so year 1 plays their 4, and then you move it into a bracket like that. 2 plays 3. Kind of like you do at regionals.
Mm-hmm.
That's one way to do it. I don't know that there's it's just that I think what we're doing now is stale. And so we need to look at changes. I mean, I've got ideas and thoughts mainly centering around not playing the same team 15 times.
Exactly.
But is there a best way to do that? I don't know, but there's a better way.
Do you think going to what junior high does, which I know junior high, a whole different, thing, but, you play every conference team once. Are you opposed to senior high doing that? just rotate every year where it's played, but you just play them once a year.
Depends how big the conference is.
Just
I
how big the
guess.
conference is.
Yeah, I mean, if you make micro conferences, like, I'm being old. About 20 years ago.
I mean, once upon a time, didn't conferences used to be about 15, 16 deep, like 70s, back in the 70s and stuff? Wasn't conferences like much larger? I feel like maybe I feel like I'm talking to like my parents and people from back then that conferences used to consist of just a ton of teams in the area. But then when they still did like 8B and things like that, because they would talk about you had to.
Yeah, there were much fewer classifications.
So your conferences were bigger. But one guy I was talking to this week talked about how they would be starting district tournament on a Tuesday at 10 a.m. because you had to play a whole week of basketball because of how many there was in your conference. But if that's the case, it could knock out a lot of people pretty quick, and you don't have teams going 1-3 and still making the state tournament.
Yeah, it solves that problem. One of the better ways that I've seen it done, and I guess it's being old and living in different places, is the way that Kentucky kind of did it. Now in Kentucky, they don't have classifications for basketball, but taking that part aside, you had a district tournament. The district in the area that I lived at was 4 teams, so everybody played a home and home during the regular season. You had the district tournament. The top 2 teams from the district went to the regional tournament, and
how many conferences were in a region? Probably.
Now you're trying to have me do math.
Sorry.
There were 16 teams. So there were 16 regions. So what if there have been 8?
About 8 per regional tournament, probably.
8 per regional, because 2 teams.
4 regions per 4 conferences per region.
Yeah.
Probably. Okay, that's not bad.
And then the 16, the champion, only the champion, because you had 16 regions went to state. So you can model it something like that, and then just include classifications, I guess, once you get past. Because I still don't think that being in a conference, you have to be in the same classification.
Would you scrap a classification or 2 in Arkansas? And that would help.
I think that would help tremendously.
How many would you scrap?
Do we really need more than 4?
Just go down to 4. Where we at 6? We're at 6 right
6.
now. So,
and honestly, 7 in football, right?
7 used to be 7 in football, 6 in basketball, but even now in basketball, 6 doesn't seem like there's just not that many.
No,
because it's just the supersized, humongous schools.
Yeah, I mean, once you get past the schools in Northwest Arkansas, Little Rock, and
Conways, your Bryants, and all them. I mean,
yeah. But I mean, is there really that much difference between? I mean, now Quitman's 3A, but West Side Quitman competitively,
right?
And, being in the same conference, maybe Quitman is in 2A, whatever it shakes out at. But Payneburn, whoever, I think that solves a lot of travel issues too. You don't have to worry about playing everywhere in the
micro conferences. Then if you do that, and you're more localized than
you
were before. My only idea, and again, it's nothing. You could never have it this way because it's not profitable enough because it cuts the number of games down. But if they want to keep the conferences and the extreme travel that we've got now, so be it. I think that what a lot of people get tired of seeing, and you and I have called enough postseason tournaments, regionals and states, to know, especially in regionals, some of those first round games, regional tournament are awful.
They're not competitive
because
whatsoever.
Some conferences, when you have to send 4 in a week conference, somebody's making a regional tournament who's won single-digit games. Sometimes they can be counted on one hand, and they're playing, like on girls' side, they're playing teams like Earl and West Side, and Viola, Norfolk, and the boys, they're playing Earl and Mark Tree, and you're just like, you don't want to disrespect the school, but then you think about sometimes the schools, depending on where the regional tournament is, could be sending a team of theirs hours away, money from the school to load them up and send them, when everybody and their mother, unfortunately, love them as they be, knows it's probably not going to end well for them. So why not, instead of taking 4 teams from each district And it kind of solves what you've always said about how what's the difference in a conference and a district? We give out a conference championship and a district championship. I guess you inspired me because I'm thinking, let's just scrap district, no more district tournament, and just have the final two.
The higher classifications do not have.
And then they do not. You're right. The higher you get, they don't have district. We'll scrap them all, and take your top 3 teams from each conference. So on our lower level schools that we cover down here in kind of 1A, 2A, 3A, you're in a region with there's 2 conferences. So you play your whole season, your top 3 just from the regular season go to the regional tournament. Both 1 seeds are automatically in the semis. The 2 and 3 have to play each other from the opposite conference. So Westside goes in as a 1 with a bye. The 2 and 3 from the other one will play each other for the right to play Westside. The 1 from the other one, the 2 and 3 from Westside's conference have the right to play them. And then from there, you got your semifinals, the 2 winners in the regional championship, the only 2 that get to go to state for regionals. You send 2 teams apiece. You have an 8-man bracket. That's not a lot of teams. It's not profitable enough because there's not as many games. But I'm not thinking money line. I'm thinking quality of the basketball.
Yeah,
and now you have the best 8 teams for sure, based on regular season play alone. You have the best 8 teams in the state. So that's where my head goes, just for the purpose of the caliber of the basketball that you'll get, and it kind of gets rid of those schools that maybe haven't won a lot.
And they're just there because somebody's got to fill that spot.
Because somebody has to be there.
I think that's a good idea because even a lot of these early round games at state have not been terribly competitive at times.
Exactly.
So it's just, I guess it comes down to the point where people are always talking about student athlete experience and all this kind of stuff. Well, if you send somebody 2 hours away to get their brains beaten by 40 points, is that really a great experience?
Fair.
No. And if your point is you're supposed to crown a champion, you always want the cream of the crop to keep playing. And right. I think that satisfies all of that.
I feel like you always have those teams that we know these schools will be there because they've been the best all year. Most of the time when you look, whether it's, Hootens or the Arkansas Gazette or whoever scorebook, whoever does the rankings, they got their top 5 through the year. More times than not, those 5 will be in there somewhere. Now, they may get upset in regionals and their seeding might be funky, but they're in there. So now state kind of always becomes, well, who's kind of filling out the holes? Who are the other 14 teams kind of filling in these rest of these spots, or the other 10? Now, it almost feels like a prestige to be the fact that I'm one of the 8 of the 8. Like, you're already at 8 that made it to, now this is the best of the best. These are the 8 that come out of it. But that's just me. And again, it's less games, but you would think now you've got good games the whole way around, no matter what. But,
or at least a better chance of good games.
A better chance of good games.
Sometimes things happen, whatever. But if you increase your chances, the better teams keep playing. I think that satisfies a lot of that. And I know a lot of people disagree because people like to go and sit at a tournament and talk to people and watch 4 games or whatever.
Watch 6 games a day. I mean, I get it.
At some point, it's like, is what we're doing broken? Maybe not necessarily, but can it be tweaked to be better? And I think there's certainly, on the court wise, we can do that. Whether it's financially sustainable and all that kind of stuff is not my worry. And does it really cost that much to turn on the lights in a gym and then fix a few hamburgers or whatever?
Well, and if those people who do just go sit all day, I mean, their money's no different. They pay to get in the building one time. They buy 1 ticket for the whole day. Now since COVID's over and there's no, for this section and this section of the day, you buy 1 ticket and if you want to still do semis that way or the finals that way, then fine. Make a morning session and an afternoon session. And or even heck, if there's just 8 teams, do the same thing. Make a morning, play 4 games, or then 4 games on this day, 4 games on this day, and then 2 and 2, and then 1, and then you have your finals. But there's
even where as we saw some last year. I mean, it's very painful even when you get to that last day in the current state of the regional tournament. You can tell that some people don't want to be there because they're just playing seeding. There's 3-4 games earlier in the day, And some of those teams, you turn around, you were playing at 8 o'clock at night, here they are at 1 o'clock in the afternoon and playing again.
And the only time those games are interesting is when you can tell a coach is being strategic and trying to place themselves in a certain side looking ahead of the bracket. We know coaches do it. And
Yes.
you can tell sometimes watching a game. I'm not, we're not calling anybody specific. I can't off the top of my head, but we all know there are coaches that will do that because they're looking ahead of the bracket and they see who's left in these other regions, who's in the finals, who got upset and is now in consolation. And they're going to, I really want to be on that side with them. Is it the worst thing in the world? I don't know what to say to those people, but that's a thing that happens, unfortunately. But
Yeah, I think the bottom line is that you can change things a number of ways to make things a little bit better and less repetitive, and the quality of overall basketball higher as you keep going through the postseason.
well, we've got from transition, quite a drastic transition, maybe from high school postseason, but we're both very big into college football. We talk a lot of college football. Biggest
Do
thing
we want to do our word of the
we should do our word of the day. For
before
those
we
of
get
you
into our last segment
before
or last
Before we do our last segment, that's a good point. So for those who watched last week, in case you didn't, every week one of our sponsors is Little Red Restaurant in Fairfield Bay. That's a part of Indian Hills, and they are going to be giving away a $25 certificate every week to a viewer who watches and is able to go into the comments on Facebook and give us the kind of the code word of the day, kind of the secret word of the day. And we do want to announce you have the winner from last week, I
we
believe.
have the winner, Tasha and Dustin Lindsay.
Awesome, Tasha and Dustin. So again, the winner, we'll announce it every week. So Tasha and Dustin Lindsay, we'll be reaching out to you probably via Facebook through Lake Area Sports and figure out how we can get your $25 to you. So we got a code word of the day for today.
Really haven't thought of one, but we'll go ahead. Ernie Banks, because we were in our second episode, and his phrase was always "Let's play two." So we'll
Play two.
So we'll use the phrase Ernie Banks in the comments below our broadcast on Facebook. Tag Little Red Restaurant if you can. If not, that's fine. But Ernie
Yeah.
Banks. There you
Comment
go.
Ernie Banks, and you potentially get $25 to Little Red Restaurant. So now going to our little conversation here. Here we are talking about how we potentially shrink down high school basketball playoffs. The one that's getting bigger seems like is college football, and I think there are people wanting to continue to expand. So forever it was four. Since it began, it was 4 teams. We've just transitioned here recently into the 12-team format. Already a few changes after year one where, conference champs were getting placed certain places, and then, some better teams were behind them having to play their way in. I don't believe so far any team who's been in those first 4 with a bye has ended up winning a national championship game. Do you like the 12? Go back down, go up. What do you think?
I don't think it needs to be expanded past 12. I know there's a lot of clamor now, some for 16, a lot for 24, they say, because of TV revenue and all that kind of stuff. It's got to go to 24. It can't go to 16. The games are already uncompetitive. I did some numbers. If we go to 24 teams in a playoff, that will be 17.3% of all teams at the FBS level.
Okay.
And during the last 10 seasons, 69.5% of all playoff games were decided by at least 10 points, and 36.9% were decided by at least 20 points. And so now we're going to bring in more
are the games really that good?
Are the games really that? I mean, there were some good games last year. At the end there, Miami and Indiana. That was a really competitive ball game. But you can sit back here and look at these. I mean, just go back to 2024, and people say, "Oh, James Madison, this, whatever." Ohio State 41, Oregon 21. That was a quarterfinal game.
Mm-hmm.
Ohio State 42, Tennessee 17. That was a first round game. Penn State 38, SMU 10. I mean, these are power conference schools beating the dog out of each other. And that's what we're going to see. And you go back to 2022, the championship game. This was the national championship. Georgia 65, TCU 7. I mean, the more people you involve, the worse games you're potentially going to get, because especially if you go to 24, they're talking about, I don't do bracket math in my head, but when you do even if the first people get buys, these early round matchups they're going to be fun because they'll be on campus.
Right.
Will they be competitive? If this is the competitive rate we're at now, when you add more teams who are theoretically worse, it's not going to get any more competitive.
My problem with it being bigger, as a college football fan, I love that there are more games. You hold on to hope that they'll be good and close, but you just made it abundantly clear, as we already knew, the vast majority of them are not that close.
Yeah.
But as a fan, you think more postseason play, more games. Okay, cool. I think that the problem here is that people are wanting to treat this like we treat March Madness, but man, it is much easier to have a potential Cinderella run from a team in basketball than football.
Yeah.
It just is it is so much easier to have a lower seeded team pull it together enough to beat a big school in the sport of basketball than it is in the sport of football. What would you say every year, just in ballpark on average, every season, when you stop and sit back and look at it on the first day of November? Because by that point you've seen roughly 8-9 weeks of football. How many teams every year on average by November 1 do you seriously look at and go, they can win a national championship?
Just not many.
What would you say, 3, 4 at the most? So
I would say on your average year, 5 or fewer.
5 or fewer. I agree. Okay, so there you go. 3 to 5 that you just look at and go, they got a shot. I think that the problem is that everybody's, with the expanding it, is we need to give more of these schools a chance. And I think people got tired every year especially after the season where Florida State goes undefeated and they get left out of the 4. And everybody was in a hullabaloo. We have got to expand. We've got to expand. Okay, let's put 12 in. You know who's going to be complaining now? 13. Let's go to 24.
Yeah.
Okay, you know who's going to be mad now? 25. You could put all 130 of them in there.
You know, Mike Leach. That was his idea.
Yeah, and somebody is going to be upset about something. Like, nobody's going to be completely happy about it. I think the problem is that they have the mindset, it's almost participation trophy thing. Like, well, let's give more of them a chance. Let's give SMU a chance. Let's give TCU a chance. Okay, you gave them a chance.
Oh, TCU, that was the championship game.
That was a championship game. Now, and they squeaked one out over a good Michigan team, but was TCU ever going to beat Georgia?
I don't know that anybody would.
I don't think anybody was going to beat Georgia. Was SMU really going to show up in the first round and win and beat whoever?
Penn State.
Yeah, Penn State that year. Were they ever going to show up in that game and win that game?
No.
Probably not. So, if anything, the 4 is fine. It's really weird to only take 4 teams to me in a postseason thing. If you're going to have a playoff, no matter the sport, 4 seems low.
I think 8.
I'm fine with 8. Yeah, I'm fine with 8. If you wanted to, and how you want to figure out the conference champion thing, I don't care. But, if you want, those Power 4 conferences, conference champs, and then one group of 5 champ, okay. But shrink it down. And the other thing for me, the games are so much better on a college campus.
Yes.
I'm tired of the neutral site. Must still be called the Rose Bowl, must still be the Fiesta Bowl, must still be if it's all about the money, let them sponsor the game, but dadgum, play it in Happy Valley, play it at Clemson, play it in LSU, play it at Bryant-Denny, play them on a campus where it means something. And if it's on their campus, that means that they played well enough during the year, they earned the right to host a playoff game. If you want us to do the national championship neutral, I get it. You kind of have to, I guess. But first round semis, however many teams you got, more games on campus, because that is really what makes college football so special. From SEC campuses to these little Ohio Valley campus schools, it's college football atmosphere on a campus that is such a cool part of the game.
Yeah.
So more of that than just the first round, in my opinion.
Yeah, especially if you're going to make it bigger. But I'm even of the mindset that we've seen all these playoffs, various iterations, 4, now 12, and I forgot to mention how bad last year's games were.
Yeah,
4 of 11 games were decided by 20 points.
Right.
7 of 11 were decided by at least 10 points. But I'm even in the mindset, if anyone, after all the regular season games had finished, and sat down and say, okay, we're not having a playoff, it's going to be Indiana, Georgia, would anybody have said, no, it should be somebody else?
Probably not, but and then you'll have people look back and go, well, shoot, that's how we did with BCS. Well, that was its whole other thing.
I'm all for going back to that.
Because it was everybody wanted to gripe about, oh, it's this computer-generated thing. It ain't fair that we got left out when this team should have. But
now it's a committee.
Now it's a committee, but even back then, at least you were told. And how many years truly of all that BCS stuff that was around, how many years truly did the final 2 get named and we throw such a fit over somebody being left out? A whole lot less than we threw a fit over a number 5 seed being left out for a 4-man playoff.
The only team that I can really remember, and I know there had to be more than that, was that 2004?
When the Texas USC year?
That was when Auburn was left out, and it was USC.
That was Texas USC in 04, wasn't it?
It might have been.
I think it was.
I remember Auburn being left out,
05.
and it's like, well, things happen sometimes. But
Tuberville can fix that now. He's in Congress.
Yeah, well, he's going to be governor. Well, I guess he's running for governor. So maybe he'll go back to Alabama and fix that. So, but yeah,
Sorry, 2004 was LSU Oklahoma.
So it'd be in 2005.
Texas USC was 05, I believe. So,
okay.
But LSU beat Oklahoma by 7 in 2004. That was the 04 national championship game. So.
But yeah, most of the time is to really. There happened to be last year more than 2 teams that could have theoretically won a national championship because Miami made that run. God bless them, whatever. But they almost didn't make the playoffs.
Exactly.
If it was down to them and Notre Dame basically, and the committee picked them, and people were like, "Well, Notre Dame should have been." It's like, you play the big games and you lose them. That's part of what makes college football special is the regular season. Mm-hmm. And if you're Notre Dame, you're out of the gate, you're playing Miami, and I think that was Texas A&M, and you lose both of them. You win 10 straight. Well, you gotta hope that the right other team loses, and it just didn't happen for them. So it's you can't include everybody, but now apparently if we're going to go to 24 teams, we're including 17% of the college football country. So why are we doing this? And if the point is to crown a national champion, you can do it with I think 8. If you want to have a playoff, 8 is the good number. I'm not necessarily against 2 or 4, whatever. If you're going to have a playoff, 4 is probably too small. You line up 1 versus 8. Another thing, this thing drags on forever now. The way the middle of January, it's just the calendar is terrible for this. You've got teams playing in the playoffs, trying to recruit players, the portal open. It's just a nightmare scenario, and a lot needs to be fixed. But we're talking about a playoff, and I really think 8 is plenty of teams. If your goal is to crown a national champion, I think that's as good as number as any of them. Play the first couple of rounds on campus, the finals at whatever bowl stadium in the middle of Arizona desert.
And I stand corrected. 2005 was USC beating Oklahoma. The USC Texas game was in 2006. So
okay,
it's 20-something years that they all run together. But all right, well, we're going to take our final commercial break and hear from our sponsors once again. Don't forget Ernie Banks. Take 2 for Ernie Banks. That's the code word for the day to win $25 from Little Red. And we're going to wrap it up with our last couple little segments when we come back. So let's hear from our great sponsors once again here on Lake Area Takes.
Discover Little Red at Indian Hills, where good food, great views, and Arkansas hospitality come together in Fairfield Bay. Enjoy lunch or dinner with comfortable indoor seating, a relaxing outdoor patio, and barbecue available Thursday through Saturday. From golfers fresh off the course to locals and visitors alike, Little Red is the place to gather, eat well, and unwind. Little Red at Indian Hills. Good food, great views, and a Fairfield Bay favorite.
Are you a sports card collector? Then make your next stop Stan's Sports Cards in Greenbrier. Whether you're chasing vintage legends or today's hottest rookies, Stan's Sports Cards has something for every sports fan. Browse an incredible selection of sports cards, jerseys, memorabilia, and collectibles from your favorite teams and players. Looking to sell? Stan's Sports Cards is actively buying vintage and modern sports cards. Turn those cards sitting in a box into cash today. Visit Stan's Sports Cards at 26 South Broadview, Highway 65, in Greenbrier, open Tuesdays through Fridays from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Looking for farm fresh beef for your family? Blacktop Cowboy Cattle Company has you covered. Choose from a whole, half, or a quarter beef, or purchase individual packaged cuts. Our cattle are locally raised, and your beef is processed at a trusted local facility for quality you can taste. Best of all, your order is picked up and hand-delivered locally right to your door by Eddie Whitehurst. Call Blacktop Cowboy Cattle Company today and put farm-raised beef on your family's table.
Ready for your next beach getaway? Discover the perfect vacation with Willock Condo Rentals. Enjoy beautiful beachfront condos in Navarre Beach and Panama City Beach, Florida. When you book directly with the owner, you'll pay no service fees, saving more money for fun in the sun. For over 15 years, Willock Condo Rentals has helped families create unforgettable beach memories with comfortable accommodations and breathtaking Gulf views. Start planning your next vacation today. Contact Willock Condo Rentals and experience the beach the way it was meant to be. Hungry? We've got you covered. Welcome to Bentley's Restaurant, Greer's Ferry's largest restaurant. Join us for breakfast and lunch every Tuesday and Wednesday, then come back Thursday through Saturday for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. From homemade omelets and our Saturday breakfast buffet to fresh salads, daily lunch specials, and hand-cut ribeyes cut as big as you want them, there's something for everyone. Friday and Saturday nights are legendary with our seafood buffet featuring jumbo peel and eat shrimp, catfish, crawfish, and all your favorites. Plus, don't miss our delicious prime rib on Saturday nights and our crab leg dinner every Friday and Saturday. Whether you're joining us for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, you'll always find great food, generous portions, and friendly service. Bentley's Restaurant in Greer's Ferry. Come hungry, bring your friends, and make every meal one to remember.
All right, we are back here on Lake Area Takes. So we debuted a segment last week called Love It or Leave It. I think it was pretty good. We just kind of bring up a couple of things happening in the sports world and just kind of talk about whether or not we think it's a good idea, bad idea. We like what it is, we don't like what it is, and we're gonna kind of go round two with it again here this week. We'll start with this one. I like this one when you mentioned this, sponsor logos on jerseys. I'll start on this one and just say that for my entire life, I have hated sponsor logos on jerseys. And I don't know, growing up, always struck me watching, I mean, I've not watched a ton of it in my life, but forever, it seems like the women NBA have never had their team name displayed hardly ever on their jerseys. You know, it could be the Los Angeles Sparks, but it says like Samsung big across their jerseys. Like they've always been that way, and it always irritated me. And now more and more, you know, all sports, everything got these big old giant patches on their shoulders or on their things. And I mean, I get it if you're the company. It's, you know, Lord, what's better than your advertisement being placed on a bunch of athletes on national television constantly? But I don't know, just put it on the field or put it on the wall or put it on the court or just somewhere. But the jersey is representative of the team. Just get the logo off of there. But that's me.
In theory, I hate it, but in this age, especially in college athletics, it's all about the money. And so someone's willing to fork over another dime. Some college is going to take it, no matter where you want to put the logo. I mean, how far away are we from allowing them to put it on midfield? You know,
Exactly.
you can already put it on the field, but
Yeah, midfield. Imagine watching I mean, what's probably the most famous football logo is probably the star for the Cowboys, right? Well, imagine watching a Cowboys football game and, T-Mobile being midfield at Cowboy Stadium. Like, this thought is just, no.
Yeah, I mean, you get it a lot on NASCAR and things like that, but on jerseys, on uniforms, keep it off.
To me, it's a part of NASCAR. Don't take it away from NASCAR. That's all about the logos and the sponsors, but just
your whole vehicle is
your whole vehicle. But if it's specifically to like jerseys, then no, I can't stand it.
Yeah.
How about colored turf on football fields?
It is awful. Take it away. I mean, Boise State, who started this thing with the blue turf, is now redoing their turf and keeping it blue, obviously. But now you've got all these different colors. I've sat there and watched the game at UCA, and it is hard for me to watch the game there. It is the stripes there, the purple and the gray. You've got Eastern Michigan's gray. There's a Division III team up in New York with a black field. Eastern Washington with a red field.
Red field.
It's like, what are we doing here? I mean, if it's supposed to be artificial turf, artificial grass, then make it artificial grass. All these color-coded things have just gone insane, and it just, if you're playing on it, maybe it doesn't make much difference. I don't know, but it's really hard to watch some of these places.
Doesn't Coastal Carolina have that weird?
They've got the teal
on the field.
It's awful there too. Yeah, there's a lot of schools, but especially the one the Division III school up in New York, which name is out the window now. That black field. I mean, it's even gone to other sports. I was just flipping across Twitter yesterday, and the College of Idaho. If you can see that. If not, go to MLB's Facebook or not Facebook, Twitter. Has purple on their baseball field. Purple on their baseball field. You can see it. They can't. Mm-hmm. But go to MLB's Twitter from yesterday afternoon. It's like, what are we doing here? I mean, because that's what their colors like. Just stop. Just make the playing surface what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be artificial grass if it's artificial, and it's just. If you're a fan, it's just really hard to watch these different colors on the fields.
So the State University of New York, Morrisville.
That's the black turf.
Is the D3 black turf school, okay. And I'm not going to lie, the black don't look half bad. But
playing football on it, watching it.
Yeah, I think it looks pretty cool. I like it. Now that I've seen a picture of it. That's just me.
They wear a black jersey.
If they're wearing black jerseys, then yeah, from a viewing standpoint, that's probably difficult. But my opinion is pretty short and sweet. I don't like it either, except Boise State. They should be the only ones ever allowed to have colored turf, and it's because theirs is historic. So blue turf only at Boise State and bar it for everybody else.
It's historic being 20 years.
So, well, there you go. When you're 30, 20 is 2/3 of your life. So super teams in the NBA. I know you're not we've talked a lot enough. You don't watch a lot of NBA, right?
Right.
Not anymore.
Well, it says Charles Barkley and Patrick Ewing and those guys, so it's been a day or seven.
A day or two. Yeah, or seven. I still follow. I'm a big Celtics fan, not a bandwagon fan, and those who know me know I'm not. But I can't say a lot because the modern day super team kind of started in Boston about 20 years ago when you put Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and Ray Allen together. You look back in the old days and you're thinking, man, that team was loaded with Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen and these guys, or the Celtics with Larry Bird and Kevin McHale. Every team was homegrown back then. It was a little bit different. You were drafted there. Most of the time you spent most of your career there, and that's just the way sports went back then. Now it's all about money and who can pay who more, and so that's how super teams get built. I would be a hypocrite to say that I don't like it because rooting for Boston, I have seen them do what they can to build super teams plenty of times. Right now, and you mentioned it when we talked about it, kind of the reason we bring this up is, one of the best players in the history of the game is 41 years old and has decided he's going to play somewhere else, and talking like it might be Golden State with the best shooter to ever play in the game. To me, that's just a geriatric super team. They're all over 35. So I don't know how much good they'll really do. So it's annoying when it's a team you don't like, but as a Boston Celtics fan in the past 20 years, I feel like if I say no, that makes me a hypocrite. So I can take it or leave it depending on who it is, I guess.
I just, it's all about stacking the deck if you're a professional sport or professional team now. And I don't even know, not saying that LeBron James is not good, because obviously he is, but where exactly is he at even on scoring with the Lakers now? So you're getting a lot of names and you're getting a lot of viewers, but are you getting the best basketball team? And for what percentage of the game are they even going to be on the floor at the same time? For how long? So,
or not be hurt.
Yes.
I mean, Mother Nate. I mean, they always talk about Father Time's undefeated. I mean,
the fact that LeBron is still playing at 41 is something in itself. But at some point you can't keep playing at that high level, and
we'll be the first grandfather to ever play in the game. How about that? For those who didn't know. Oh goodness. Back to football. Week 0. You like week 0?
Hugely in favor. That goes back to the regular season of, if there's a game on a date, play it. I don't care that I think it's silly to call it week 0, but I was at a week 0 game last year.
Love the concept, leave the name.
Yeah, Fresno State at Kansas, that was a lot of fun going up there and see their half redone stadium and all that. But yeah, if they want to play college football a week early, it is not going to hurt my feelings at all. So the more during the regular season, the better.
We are on the same page. I love it because if you're a true college football fan, the earlier games come on, the happier you are. And I could care less that it's Stanford versus Hawaii, that it's San Jose State versus Idaho State. I don't care. By August, it's football. Put it in front of me, and I'm going to sit and watch it. And now, because week 0's gotten bigger, there's always at least 1 or 2 big games. I could care less that half of them are overseas anymore. Yeah. And then the games kind of start, and the fans over there, they like it. They get to watch American football. It's like, okay. But
yeah, this year we've got, I think it's North Carolina, TCU, and Ireland.
In Ireland, I believe. And so, think about when Georgia Tech beat Florida State. Nobody knew Florida State was going to go to the dumpster fire that they ended up in. But think about week 1, watching them get beat overseas and stuff, and it's like, this is college football. And you didn't have to wait for that first Thursday night, and for sure for that first Saturday. So I'm with you. I love week 0.
We are 65 days away from the first week 1 Saturday. So that's what, 58 to week 0 Saturday. So we're turning the corner.
Next time you flip the calendar month, you see August football. And the last one, and I like this because it is the holiday weekend, the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest. I guess I'm indifferent. I guess I'm going to say I love it because I'm an American, and I feel like on the 4th, this is just part of being an American, is the hot dog eating contest. I don't have too strong of an opinion on it because I don't think I've ever watched it because the same guy wins every time. So, but if I didn't get an alert on my phone on the 4th of July about Joey Chestnut and the hot dog eating contest, I would feel a little less patriotic. So I love it, I guess.
I don't know that I'm indifferent to it. I think I'm more grossed out than anything.
That's fair.
It's just that
it's not a pleasant sight watching them.
And then we're Americans, and you've got this Kobayashi who seems to win half the time. So what's that about? So, if we can't win our own contest, then why have it? That's fair kind of where I'm at.
Fair point. Love it or leave it. I like it. So let's debut another new segment where we threw this idea around, thought about doing it last week. We didn't quite make it to this point, but just kind of just a lighthearted little way to end the episode. Lake Area Takes proudly presents This Week in Animal Takes.
Yes, we have Tim McMeechan on Facebook, who has a pet, I guess for lack of a better term, coyote. The dog is named Duck. The coyote is named Weave. He's got a raccoon named Squirrel. So interesting. Look him up. His videos, I think, are kind of interesting. Wandering around, watching the coyote in its den and in his house and feeding it hot dogs. It's just wild. So anyway, This Week in Animal Takes. Tim McMeechan on Facebook.
Let's see what he got.
Get your kitty. Get your kitty. Oh, you love your kitty. Get your kitty. Get your kitty. Coats love kitties. The whole internet tells me the coats love cats. Nope. Get back up there. You going outside? Come here. Come get your kitty. Get your kitty. Whoa, kitty bot got you. Now get your kitty. Nope, get your kitty. Get your kitty. Coats love cats. Hey, coats love cats. You going outside? Back outside. Gotta leave the door closed, baby. It's getting cool. This is my new lap dog. Sits on my lap. She likes belly scratches. Loves her belly pets. Can we get boink? Boink! Boink! You like your belly pets? You're a good girl. How are you doing today? Did you get your kitty? You rough your kitty up? Yeah. Wow, look at your nose. Look at your nose. Look at your beak. Look at your beak. You're so noisy. You're so feisty. What's your duck doing? Oh, get your duck. She's back. She loves her lovin's. Don't you, baby? Hey, where's your kitty? Can we get a boink? Can we get a boink? There's your belly pets. Oh, there it is. Here comes your kitty. Yeah, get your kitty. Get your kitty. Get your kitty. Come on, get your kitty. Get your kitty, get your kitty. Wow, he's quick. There's my cat. There's my coyote. Let's see if she gets jealous of duck. She gonna get jealous? Hey. Oh, chomp the kitty. Chomp your kitty. Look, I got duck. I'm petting duck. I'm petting duck. I'm petting duck. Are you jealous? I'm petting duck. Oh, duck's wanting to cuddle more. This is awesome. So how's your day? You gonna come back in and get a hot dog? Let's go get a hot dog. Let's get a hot dog. Let's get a hot dog. Ow. Get away from me. You get away. Go get your weave. Pow. Punch in the face. Punch in the face. Do the headbutt thing. Do the headbutt thing. Weave is allowed upstairs every once in a while. Squirrel is not supposed to be upstairs. Squirrel's supposed to be outside. But they're playing so good, so we don't know who followed who upstairs. But they're playing good. Come here, Weave. Look at Slappy over there being good. Hi, Slappy. She's a good kitty. These guys are idiots. Coyotes and squirrels love each other. You get that squirrel. You get that squirrel. Whoa, easy. No bridges.
I mean, if I'm supposed to have a take on that, I think that is one of the most insane people I have ever met in my life. The minute that thing did the snarl and the growl and the nose thing, like, no, I wouldn't have been in that position anyway, but at that moment, it's, no.
Been unnerving.
That's crazy. What a man. What a guy.
So Tim McMeechan on Facebook, go check him out. We'll see what we come up with for next week, for this week in Animal Takes.
Dog, the duck, and squirrel, the cat, and whatever you said it was. My goodness. I don't like coyotes in my yard and definitely wouldn't like one in my home, but goodness gracious. Well, that's going to pretty much do it for us this week here on Lake Area Takes episode 2, and we have we're excited to keep it rolling. And if you've missed out last week and this is your first time joining us, we plan on being here every Thursday, 7 o'clock. You can find us on Spotify, YouTube, and on Facebook. And one more thing we want to shout out real quick before we go is this was just announced yesterday, but AAA gave out its Sportsmanship Awards for this past year. And how about 2 Lake area schools getting mentioned, Rosebud and Southside B Branch. So shout out to the Ramblers and the Hornets for Sportsmanship Awards for this past school year. So
Congratulations. Yeah.
Congratulations to them, as we just said. And how about this next week? Already got our guest hammered down for next week. Riley Hooten's going to be on. So for those who don't know, Riley was a player at Quitman several years ago, and now she is high school and college basketball referee. So we're pretty excited to have Riley on next week, and lots of different things we could talk to her about. So that'll be a good interview with Riley. So be sure you tune in next week on Thursday, July the 9th. For our interview with Riley Hooten. And again, Facebook, Spotify, and YouTube, you can find us there. Just look up Lake Area Takes or Lake Area Sports. And you can find episode 1 from last week. You'll be able to find this week's episode. And like we said, we plan on having these here every Thursday at 7 o'clock. And happy 4th of July, everybody. This is a
Happy birthday, America.
happy 250th birthday to America. If you're around the lake area, you live here, we feel for you because we go through it too. With all these
Fireworks shows all around and tourists to match.
tourists everywhere, and the best day in this whole weekend will be Sunday. As most
Yeah,
of
not gotten your groceries by the time you watch this, then go out and get them now.
Go get them late Thursday, first thing Friday morning, and then get back home before it gets ridiculous. But have fun, be safe, and have a great rest of the week. And that's going to do it for us here today on Lake Area Takes. So we will see you all next week. Thanks for watching.
Discover Little Red at Indian Hills, where good food, great views, and Arkansas hospitality come together in Fairfield Bay. Enjoy lunch or dinner with comfortable indoor seating, a relaxing outdoor patio, and barbecue available Thursday through Saturday. From golfers fresh off the course to locals and visitors alike, Little Red is the place to gather, eat well, and unwind. Little Red at Indian Hills. Good food, great views, and a Fairfield Bay favorite.
Are you a sports card collector? Then make your next stop Stan's Sports Cards in Greenbrier. Whether you're chasing vintage legends or today's hottest rookies, Stan's Sports Cards has something for every sports fan. Browse an incredible selection of sports cards, jerseys, memorabilia, and collectibles from your favorite teams and players. Looking to sell? Stan's Sports Cards is actively buying vintage and modern sports cards. Turn those cards sitting in a box into cash today. Visit Stan's Sports Cards at 26 South Broadview, Highway 65, in Greenbrier, open Tuesdays through Fridays from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Looking for farm fresh beef for your family? Blacktop Cowboy Cattle Company has you covered. Choose from a whole, half, or quarter beef, or purchase individual packaged cuts. Our cattle are locally raised, and your beef is processed at a trusted local facility for quality you can taste. Best of all, your order is picked up and hand-delivered locally right to your door by Eddie Whitehurst. Call Blacktop Cowboy Cattle Company today and put farm-raised beef on your...
No service fees, saving more money for fun in the sun. For over 15 years, Willock Condo Rentals has helped families create unforgettable beach memories with comfortable accommodations and breathtaking Gulf views. Start planning your next vacation today. Contact Willock Condo Rentals and experience the beach the way it was meant to be. Hungry? We've got you covered. Welcome to Bentley's Restaurant, Greer's Ferry's largest restaurant. Join us for breakfast and lunch every Tuesday and Wednesday, then come back Thursday through Saturday for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. From homemade omelets and our Saturday breakfast buffet to fresh salads, daily lunch specials, and hand-cut ribeyes cut as big as you want them, there's something for everyone. Friday and Saturday nights are legendary with our seafood buffet featuring jumbo peel and eat shrimp, catfish, crawfish, and all your favorites. Plus, don't miss our delicious prime rib on Saturday nights and our crab leg dinner every Friday and Saturday. Whether you're joining us for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, you'll always find great food, generous portions, and friendly service. Bentley's Restaurant in Greer's Ferry. Come hungry, bring your friends, and make every meal one to remember.